Good morning, everybody. Billy here, Real-Time Custom Rods. I'm going to do a little simple open chevron. Explain to you what I've done here and the layout and everything. I've already laid the rod out. The circumference of this is a blank that I used to practice on. That's why it looks like it's in such bad shape. I put several wraps on here and cut them off. But the circumference of this rod is close to 1 3/4 inches. I think it was 1.7. So I already had some dots on here that were real close to 1 3/4, so I'm going with them. And like I said, I like kind of an elongated chevron that points toward the tip instead of a closed bunchy one. It's just my personal preference. I've done them both ways. So I'm going to get going right now. I'm going to start with red. I'm going to go with red, and I'm going to do about 6 passes of red. Then I'm going to come back and do some of this, I don't know, a greenish blue. If you like what you see and you're watching some of my videos, I'm starting to get a few subscribers, and I really appreciate you guys that subscribe. I'm still fairly new. I took a rod building online course through Mudhole back in June, which was only about 7 months ago. It's the first week of June, so it really hadn't been 7 full months. And learned a lot and found out this is something I really enjoy doing, so I kind of took it up as a hobby. I do build rods for sale, and I have sold a few rods. So if you like what you see, if you got something you want me to try to figure out how to do, if you have a problem with something, leave me a comment. I'll be glad to try to answer any questions. And like I started to say, if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button and take it down to, you can set that up where you're seeing all of my contents. You'll get a notification if you hit the notifications. And again, that just helps me. My goal is to get, not that I'll ever plan on making a lot of money, because I don't plan on putting on a bikini and getting on a bathing suit and getting in a boat. But if I get to 1,000, I'll start getting some kind of monetization. If I can make a few bucks to help me pay for my hobby, it's worth it. Put a few dollars in the boat for gas. That's all I'm really looking for out of this. So I'm going, like I said, down from my left to my right on the top of the thread, which is the north side of the wrap. Then when I come back from my right to my left, I go on the south side of the thread that I put down. And that'll get you that chevron look. Chevrons are decorative. A lot of complicated wraps are basically, derived from that, or as a takeoff from some sort of chevron. And I'll probably fast forward through a lot of this, so I won't bore you with everything, but what I've learned when I watch other people, they fast forward them. If you go down to your settings on YouTube, you can look at a playback speed And I will typically speed mine up to 4 times the actual speed, and you can actually decrease in settings down to 1/4 of my playback speed, so you can get it back in real time if you really want to do that. Sometimes these wraps would takes me several hours. I don't know if anybody wants to sit on a YouTube channel and watch one for that long. So you have to cut and paste or speed them up or something along those lines. I don't know if you're new to this. The first pass you do, I'll stop when I get down. This will be my 3rd. And I'll pack these strings in kind of tight, kind of close to each other. The very first thread you lay down, that's what everything else is built on. So I'll make sure I'm on my spots and my predetermined marks. And I'm really just kind of building this out of my head. I said I'm going to go 5 or 6 passes. I may look at that and decide I want to go a few more. I try to get my ends as close as I can early on, as they will be the ones that, when you make that turn and come back, those threads don't stay quite right. It's just the nature of the beast. I've heard other people say the same thing. One thing I've learned in rod building also is you can't go it so fast. There are those guys that can kind of speed right through it. Something else I'll do once I get to this is I'll take a string and kind of lay it down and make sure my crosses are crossing at the right spot. It's important to note that I'm holding my hand. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. I'm about, I don't know, 1 foot or 14 inches from the rod. And makes the thread lay in there a little bit better. Helps with tension also. Got a puppy in my shop today. She's down there in my trash can. Doing what puppies do. See the chevron starting to take place now. Like I said, when I go down on the north side of the string, I come back on the south side of the string, which is top and bottom. It puts that point toward the rod tip. Which, not that that's the right or wrong way, but it just seems logical to me. Everything's going that way anyway. Your line, when you fish, are going that way. Your guides get smaller that way. You're looking that way. But that's just an opinion. It's not that it's right or wrong. what I was saying about the pick. I don't know if you can see right here, this thread going this way. It frayed it. And if I tried to mess with that much more, that thread would break. I thought I was being careful. I really should only use this burnishing tool to pack with, or my finger. It truly is easier the further you hold your thread from the blank. I'm probably 20 inches from it now, and I'll let it wind me in as I get toward the turn. Okay, that chevron is coming along. Like I said, I've never really done one, and all that I've done that are the same color all the way down like this. I think I kind of like it. I'm going to come back in with some other stuff and dress it up with some different colors. And kind of got some ideas in my head what I want to do. Really, you can kind of pack a lot of this just with your finger. I chipped my fingernail, but normally, I heard Tom Kirkman say the fingernail is the best packing tool they make. I think he's probably right. But you can still just take your finger without the fingernail, using it, and just push and get it back right. Okay, I'm going to introduce some black. Just to border this, do a little bit different than what I typically would do on a chevron. But I'm going to see how this is going to work out. Again, I don't have any method to my madness here. I am just literally making it up as I go. This is a turquoise. I call it turquoise or bluish green, I don't know. Hopefully it'll look good together. I'm just continuing this bluish green color, kind of point the chevron down. I'm trying to figure out a way to get black on both sides of everything. I'll figure something out, a little unorthodox something. Okay, I'm going to start running, just to get this done, I'm running 4 threads at the time now. Hope I got enough to get to the end. If not, I'll tie it off, and that'll then be the end of my pattern, because I'm not going to go all the way to the end anyway. It's going to be right at it. Okay, I'm getting this bluish green. About to get it down. Get this thing finished. I had another rod builder that was watching one of my videos and about these chevrons and how I run 4 threads and sometimes 2. He said, well, you get a nicer chevron if you run them one at a time. I didn't really know, and I've done that, and they did look better, but I didn't know why. Now that I've combined them, I kind of see it. The threads just don't lay as nice when you do 4. It's not quite so bad, I don't guess, if you do the whole thing like that. I don't know. It's always a learning process. And I just learned something. Okay, I've got about the... I think I need to come back one more time right to left. Okay, this is the last run of this. And then I'm going to do something with that black to border it. Then I'm going to epoxy it. And be done with it. Put it on YouTube. If you're watching this, you already know that. I do have to tie off the ends. It's another good thing about this Fuji thread being a little thinner, it's not quite as bulky down at the ends. Try something a little different. We're going to see how it's going to look. I'm going to take this D black. I'm not using that other stuff. I'm going to frame this in black. See how this is going to work out. I flipped this over on the dryer just to give you an idea of that look with the rod turning. This is a pretty simple, wrap to do. Every wrap I do is pretty simple because I haven't learned the more complicated ones yet, but that day's coming. So like I said, I'm gonna get some epoxy on this and tie off the ends and finish her up. I think what I'm going to do on these ends is I've got that black accent in here, and I think I'm going to just run black thread for the tie off. Trying to get my pull through in here. This thing has just about had it. But it'll work. try to get far enough that I don't have to worry about cutting off the thread after I pull it through. I know my hand's blocking everything, but what I'll do is I'll pull this down snug. That's holding this tag in line in place. I cut it to within about an 1/8 of an inch. Then I pull it through and it just gets hidden down there. Okay, I stopped that wrap about halfway or 2/3 of the way from where I want it to be. And I'll finish it off now after I cut these ends off. This was a real blank, I'd have popsicle sticks on there so I could press down. I wouldn't have to worry about scratching the blank up. So if you're doing one for real, don't do them quite this aggressively, because you'll have problems. The thing about the tape, get it off, it brings a lot of thread with it. Again, this is an old fiberglass blank I acquired when I bought that fella out. I don't know, I think it was the makings of a surf rod. So I'm not too worried about scratching. I made some pretty good scars in here, and if you had a high modulus carbon fiber graphite type rod, I would have ruined it doing it this aggressively. So I can't stress enough, use popsicles. By that I mean, before I start, I would take this popsicle stick down, wrap my tape around it, then when I cut it off, of course, I'd cut down to the popsicle and take it off that way. That way you're cutting into the popsicle. I didn't used to do that, and I made a few. I didn't ruin the blank, but I did go into it, and I didn't like that. It was a personal blank, so I didn't worry too much about it. But of course, there's a little trick here to getting that string to lay down. And don't make the mistake of using A thread, size A, when you tie these off, because you'll have problems with getting it to lay down. So it's kind of a two-part deal here. You have to do the first part because your threads would come undone when you cut them if you didn't. The second part, of course, is going back and adding to it. If this was a normal layout, I would have a certain distance I'm going, and I would have cut the thread back to that, but that's not what I'm doing today. I'm just practicing and making a little video. Put my pull through in again. It closed up pretty good. Okay. That's that in. I will do the other end exactly the same. So what I'll do is I'll measure that. And that is 3/4 of an inch. Slide it down to the other end down here. Find a good spot to tie off. I think I'm gonna go from right here out 3/4 of an inch. I'm gonna start right here. Go to there overall. Get it right there. Okay, y'all have seen me do the other end. It'll be exactly the same as this one, so I'm not gonna bore you with that being part of the video. I will put some epoxy on this, show you what it looks like when I get through with that, and thanks for hanging in there with me. Like I said, if you like what you see, you've hung with me this long, hit the like and subscribe. Drop me a line, tell me what you want to see. Okay, here is the finished wrap. As you can see, I obviously was making it up as I go. Chevron / diamond in the middle. Black tile. Black board. The sun is coming through on the window. This gives you an idea